Hello and welcome to this presentation. I'm your narrator Patil. This presentation will cover a variety of different topics in relation to drug and alcohol abuse with students. Smoking and vaping are both quite addictive, dangerous and harmful, but will not be covered in this presentation. So let's begin with a brief overview and introduction. Because students are still learning in this world, it is up to the adults to inform them of the dangers that come with using drugs. Drugs have the ability to affect the person's mood, their emotions, and overall personality, usually in a negative way. Many drug addicts and alcoholics slip into poverty. Research shows a direct relationship between drug addiction and economic struggles. There is a wide variety of health risks. It literally changes the way someone's brain functions. One statistics state that over 80% of individuals in jail have recorded using drugs in an illicit manner. Next up, we will explore some of the reasons why students frequently use drugs. Peer pressure is one of the most common reasons. Students pressurize their friends into using drugs, and maybe an individual friend or a group of friends. Another reason is simply boredom. Students may view drinking and drugs as a good time, yet not realize its unintended consequences. There is a social aspect, especially when it comes to alcohol use. Alcohol is sometimes used by shy and quiet students as a way of opening up a bit. Lastly, drugs or alcohol may be used to mask or heal any emotional pain. However, it never solves any of these emotional problems or pain. Remember, none of these reasons justify the associated dangers of using drugs and alcohol. Continuing with the presentation, we will look at some of the responsibilities of educators, friends, and family. All school staff is responsible for their students' safety according to the state and national laws. Schools must put in place various drug prevention programs to help curb drug abuse. If you are a friend or relative of a student with a drug habit, it's so important that you get that student or friend help. And teachers, you have a legal responsibility to report student drug use. The next session will provide a brief overview of several different drugs and their accompanying symptoms. We will begin by taking a look at alcohol. First of all, alcohol is one of the most accessible of all categories. Students may simply take alcohol from their parents or siblings. Alcohol is in use in most social settings. It obviously includes parties. Children notice it is acceptable in many adult settings. One of the biggest dangers of drinking alcohol is the risk of getting alcohol poisoning. Alcohol poisoning often occurs at college campuses. Some of the symptoms you should be on the lookout for in students include slurring of speech, smell of alcohol, stumbling, loud talking, drowsiness, of being aggressive, having hangover-like symptoms, and light sensitivity. Of being aggressive, having hangover-like symptoms, and light sensitivity. The next drug in this presentation is marijuana, sometimes called as pot or weed, herb, bud, trees. It has many different names. People often take this drug because they believe it will help them become relaxed. Marijuana is the most commonly used drug, and its consumption is on the rise in adults. It is a plant found all throughout the world, and its leaves are removed, dried, and used to be smoked. Its chemical THC is sometimes vaped instead. Be on the lookout for these symptoms in students: an increased appetite, lung irritation, bloodshot eyes, mood changes, and having slow coordination. Moving forward, we come off to heroin. Heroin falls under the classification of narcotics or opioids. Students may get acquainted with these narcotics when using them to treat painful injuries. Heroin affects the person's senses and uses it to describe a feeling of euphoria. Heroin is derived from morphine and used to treat pain, but is a much faster acting substance and is consumed as a white or a brown powder. Symptoms of heroin include the following: pale skin, short breath, constricted pupils, slow responses, flushed skin, convulsions, nodding off, and drowsiness. The next drug to be covered is cocaine. Cocaine is highly addictive. It also creates a euphoria and alertness that can cause individuals to seek more and more. Users will immediately begin to build a tolerance to the drug, meaning they require more and more of the drug to feel its full effect. Cocaine is a stimulant. It sort of speeds up things for the user of the drug. It also brings about increased energy. Now here is a list of some of the symptoms, which include body tremors, repetitive actions, hand shaking, high energy, anxiety, extreme fatigue, lack of focus, and having no appetite. Continuing, we come upon methamphetamines, or just meth. Meth can be consumed as powder, a pill, or the commonly used crystalline form known as crystal meth. Repeated use of this dangerous drug can lead to facial disfigurement and a person becomes a full meth head. Just Google the faces of meth and you will see what I mean. Meth is also a stimulant leading to increased energy. As soon as they take this, they will feel like they can stay up forever. Here are some of the symptoms you will find in users of meth: violent behavior, high body temperature, mood swings, tooth decay, skin sores, no appetite, body tremors, and insomnia. Now we are really moving along and we come up to ecstasy or MDMA. Ecstasy is known as a club drug or dance party drug. It is very popular with the younger crowd. When crushed from a pill, MDMA is often mixed with alcohol and found at parties. Users report becoming very empathetic and being in a heightened state of emotions. They usually feel loving. Here is a list of the symptoms: sweating, having a chill, raised body temperature, blurred vision, clenching teeth, having sleep issues, increased pulse, dehydration, and nausea. The next drug to be covered is LSD, lysergic acid diethylamide. LSD is a synthetic drug, meaning it was created using man-made materials as opposed to using natural ingredients. LSD is notorious for its hallucinogenic properties. Hallucinogenic effects are mostly psychological and have little to no effect on the physical body. LSD has intense effects, including out-of-body experiences, and is usually orally consumed in paper squares. You can recognize the students that use this drug because they may exhibit the following symptoms, such as vomiting, distorted thinking, having flashbacks, memory loss, paranoia, slow movements, senses mixing, and bizarre actions. Now we arrive at magic mushrooms or shrooms. Shrooms are formerly known as psilocybin. This drug is usually consumed orally or eaten either fresh or dry. Mushrooms are found naturally throughout the world and is sometimes used in recipes. This drug is a hallucinogen. It is not addictive, however, it may cause psychotic episodes for students that consume this drug. Some of the symptoms to be on the lookout for include increased sense, numbness, anxiety, disorientation, panic, having the chills, a lack of focus, and hallucinations. As we finish up this presentation, the last stroke study here is Adderall. Adderall may be prescribed to treat attention deficit hyperactivity disorder in children. It is effective when used properly. Many students take this drug because they feel the need to focus and they believe it will help. Users say that this drug alters their personality. Adderall is also used to treat narcolepsy. Students again use this drug to stay awake and cram for the tests and studies. Some of the signs to be on the lookout for include being talkative or socially withdrawn, overworking, weight loss, hygiene issues, memory loss, being very secretive, and getting extra sleep from staying up so late. Now let me end this presentation with a quote from a musician that died from a drug overdose. Drugs are a waste of time. They destroy your memory and your self-respect and everything that goes along with your self-esteem. Finally, I would like to thank you for your patient listening and hoping to see you soon.